Wow. Wow. Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for breaking news, people. Breaking news. Now, I'm apologizing from the get-go. I missed the breaking news yesterday. I did see it. But obviously, Big Six was about to start in half an hour. Personal terms with Jackson. I thought, you know what? There's just no time here. I can't do a stream. I can't do a video. I got a quiz to get ready for that I came joint last in. So I thought to myself, I'm gonna have to just watch Eunice, and Eunice is smashing it. All right, let's just say big up to Eunice. I said it in the group chat. I need to say it as well, and Miz as well. These guys are relentless. They're not playing games. They are here. They are here no matter what. Now me, I can't be here no matter what. Let me open this packet of wipes, fam. My hay fever is killing me right now. You guys know I'm going to New York next week. I'm not gonna be here for these breaking news streams next week. The time difference is gonna be crazy. And on top of that as well, you know, I'm gonna be busy. So I'm gonna be doing content, obviously, mainly reactions when I get the chance. When I do get the opportunity to do some content, I'll be reacting to what happened. But if there is stuff going on breaking wise, I'm not just going to be able to just go live, obviously. So I won't be the fastest one for sure when it comes to keeping up to date, but I will be there. I will be there at some point, no matter what. Now, all right, let's see what's going on. There's a lot of people in the chat. Jackson, I was going to have a video for this morning, and I held off because I thought to myself, do you know what? I would hate to make a video last night, get it edited, and then be out of sync with today. And that is exactly what's happened. Fabrizio Romano, we're going to go through everything, really, absolutely everything on this stream, because there's just so much going on. Things are now happening, as they say in Barcelona. And it's good to see, because I said on the last All You Can Eat episode that when we come back, we need to have closed deals, and we're getting there. We are getting there. Now, 5 minutes ago, the Valverde link finally dies at last, because I haven't even bothered with this Valverde link. I don't even know why this Valverde link has even arrived at anybody's doorstep. He's not going anywhere, but just if you needed confirmation, Valverde, when asked on Chelsea links, no, I'm at Madrid trying to enjoy every moment and leave my mark on the best club in the world. I want to keep winning titles for Real Madrid fans. This guy ain't going anywhere. I don't know why people thought he was, but yeah, glad that's over. Now, on to the actual stuff that is happening. Chelsea have decided to activate the release clause of Nicholas Jackson. Chelsea are set to pay the release clause of 35 million euros, discussing installments. So, you know, we are going to pay the 35 million euros. They're discussing whether they're going to do it in installments. It's just, what is it, 29 million pounds? Listen, I don't know if this is a time to be trying to waste time here, considering the fact that other Premier League clubs are looking at the player, but we'll see what happens. 3 more clubs open to pay the clause, so Chelsea will move fast, and contract will be long, more than 5 years, obviously. I think, what is the maximum that UEFA kind of said in the recent, well, FIFA? I think there was some sort of new rule that was brought in because, of course, we did a madness. Now, if that doesn't come into play until 1st of July, because it was the fact that we started offering 8, 7, 6-year contracts or whatever it was. I think mainly the 8 ones is the one that really annoyed them. Then they said, okay, we're going to bring in a new rule. So when is that rule starting? Because if it doesn't start before July the 1st, then I guess we still have time on contract length. Let's see. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments as well. UEFA to enforce a 5-year limit in response to Chelsea's FFP swerving long-term contracts. But when does this come into place? Well, hopefully you guys will know. Let me know in the comments. Them death row deals. Yeah, they're trying to stop us. They're trying to stop us. But listen, we will not be stopped. We will not be stopped. We're still trying to put together these long-term contracts. And if anything, that incentivizes us even more to try and get these deals done as quickly as possible, because that does come into play latest, I'm pretty sure, July the 1st. If that's the earliest time they could maybe put it in, because I don't know, even the window's already open, so I don't even know if July 1st is even an important date anymore. It's only really pre-season. Because yeah, it's not like as if the transfer window is not open. So I don't know. It's a strange one. But whenever that does come into effect, then, you know, we'd wanna have business done by then, because we're not going to get to do it anymore. But let's see what you guys are saying. So let's go through these comments. Who the hell is Jackson? Well, As I explained in a video a couple of days ago, if you don't know who Jackson is, Jackson's got 12 goals in 16 starts last season in La Liga. He basically broke into the team ahead of the regular starter midway through the season. And then he started to hit form. The year before, last season, he was in the 3rd division of the Spanish league out on loan. So it is quite a steep rise for him and a very small sample size as to where he where his ability kind of lies. But listen, he's taken La Liga by storm by the back end of the season. He's got the best conversion rate as well in terms of shooting in front of goal last season in La Liga. Obviously, like I said, the sample size is not across the whole season, so that would help the conversion rate, of course. Not taking that many shots in comparison to others as well, but looks like a talented player and a player that was linked with Bournemouth, I think, and maybe someone else, but mainly Bournemouth. I think he failed a medical in January. And to be fair, Bournemouth look like they've had their scouting on. They've done their scouting. They were looking at Enzo Lafie as well not so long ago. So Bournemouth have been scouting quite well recently, and Chelsea have been trying to cut out the middleman with all of these deals. And listen, this is the type of player that potentially goes to a Brighton or goes to a Bournemouth, absolutely smashes it up, and then the big clubs start circling with bigger transfer fees. So when we ask who these players are, we have to be mindful of that. Is that usually our clubs are not aware of who these players are, and that's why we have to pay premium prices. And for me personally, when you look at Chelsea in this range, in terms of this kind of 30 million kind of price tag, we actually tend to do quite well. I'm going to go through some of the players that we've signed in this price range. So on the 38 million euro front, you got Drogba. On the who else? We got Badiashile as well. On this, we got Koulibaly. That's a fail so far. Diego Costa, Michael Essien. We also have Kante, Willian, Hazard, David Luiz, Rudiger, Madueke, Fabregas, Oscar, and Sean Wright-Phillips also just about makes that list. That's kind of the ballpark we're looking at for Chelsea signing players in this kind of 30 to 40 million range. And also Bakayoko has left our club at last. But yes, let's see. Let's see what's going on. So yeah, that's kind of the floor of his statistics and where he's come from. I would obviously say that this is a big risk. Nobody knows the player that well, to be honest. That not really, unless you're following La Liga and you're watching Villarreal. So it is a bit of a risk, and we just have to kind of trust the scouts on this one. I'm happy that we're not going for Lautaro for 80 million. We're not going for Vlahovic, who's really probably expensive as well. I'm glad that we're not spending the money on one of these guys, but this is definitely a risk. And like I said, the sample size is so small. He could have just had a great, you never know, he could have just had a great purple patch and that's it. It's happened before with many players. So we might just be picking up someone that had a great run and that's the end of it. But he is young. He is 21. And like I said, people ask me, what do you think is going to happen with Datro now? As I've been saying during the season, Datro is not going to play. Datro is not going to start. And Datro is probably a profit player at best and is going to go out on loan, I would assume. So yeah, similar profile to Isak. Yeah, I mean, Isak wasn't banging in the goals in Spain too much. And then he ended up being a really, really good player, of course, for Newcastle. So like I said, for me, it's always about the profile. It's always about the attributes. We aren't spending a lot of money, which is great because he's not going to get comparisons to some of the best strikers in the league, which will put a lot of pressure on him media-wise, fans-wise. As soon as Núñez came in, what did they compare him to immediately? Haaland. And that didn't go too well. That's not going to happen with Jackson. So £29 million, 35 million euros. It's a very, very shrewd deal to do. We're trying to get ahead of the curve. And listen, we can't be hypocrites, right? Because the amount of people that be asking Chelsea to scout and to find gems and to not, waste money, that's exactly what they're doing. So now that they're doing that, can't complain. Just have to see if it goes well. And listen, this is the same kind of reaction that Badiashile got in January. Nobody knew who Badiashile was, or not a lot of people did, unless you're following French football closely. A lot of people disrespected Badiashile before he even kicked a ball. And then Badiashile went on to tie up our defense and start very, very strongly to the point where everybody was like, why are you not in the starting 11? Where are you? So for me personally, yeah, I'm not angry at all. I'm quite happy that we've gone down this route. Like I said, I don't know the player, can't gas him, but I am intrigued and I am semi-excited for him because I do believe this is the type of this is the type of signing that tends to do quite well for us. And from what it looks like on statistics and graphs and all these pie charts and everything, he does look like he's got quite a good, well-rounded game, and that's good to hear. I'm glad to see that we've gone with a striker that could potentially help the team and not just needs servicing and needs us to constantly feed and don't get nothing back. Apart from obviously, just goals. I want a striker that can actually, help the team play better. And hopefully that's something that he can do. So we shall see. The weaknesses are there as well. He's got weaknesses. I think his heading ability, is a general consensus. His heading ability is not great. For someone of his size, I think he's 6'1". His heading ability is definitely needs work. A few reports, scouting reports that I've been looking at and reading, they all kind of bring up a little bit of balance as well, which is why I made the Tammy Abraham comparison. Because, listen, Tammy Abraham wasn't that bad in terms of, he scored 15, I think, non-penalty goals. The guy put the ball in the back of the net for us more so than any of these other big-name strikers that we've signed, whether it's Timo Werner's, Lukaku's, Aubameyangs, didn't really get his opportunities as much. But Tammy Abraham, his first season was actually solid. You could say it was a solid first season. Now, kind of capped him off. I felt never going to be a top striker, world-class striker, but at least serviceable, at least did a job for us and done a better job than most. But he didn't have great balance, and his frame was he was so tall, but he couldn't really handle his own frame in the end. When he went up for headers, he was always falling over himself, couldn't actually put the ball in the back of the net from aerial situations. But at times has good feet and can wriggle out of situations. Hopefully Jackson ends up being better, but that was the comparison in my head that first came to mind when I see him. But he is fast. It's like even big up. He's very rapid before people put out lies. So it looks like he's a quick player from a lot of people you're saying here. Listen, like I said, I haven't been able to see enough of him to really be commenting. He's, I think, Villarreal in the Conference League. I was hoping that they would have at least played Europa League for me to watch. But even when you compare him to Manuani as well, in terms of certain things, he's actually stacked up quite well. Obviously, Manuani, a lot of assists this season. I think he got like 15 assists, was it? Like I said, Jackson not taking a lot of shots. I'm hoping that's just the fact that, obviously Villarreal maybe... The thing is, Villarreal finished 5th. And they don't sacrifice their possession. Their possession stats are fairly normal. So I'm not really sure why he doesn't have many shots on the register. Maybe, I don't know. I'm hoping he's not hesitant to shoot. I'm not really sure why his shot volume is so low. Maybe someone can tell me. But yeah, for some reason it is. Was so streaky. Didn't he score 5 goals in 2 games? Well, yeah. I mean, listen. It probably was streaky, but like I said, this guy has also kind of hit form, in a small sample size. So yeah, I think the comparison still sits quite well. Let's see what's being said before we get into everything else. So, like I said, it looks like the release clause is either going to be paid in installments or just flat out. 29 million, you'd assume they just pay it flat out. I mean, let's just cut the malarkey before someone else gets involved. Last thing we need is other clubs to get involved here. There are other clubs looking at him. This is a quick deal to do, hopefully. Get it out the way and move on. And we're going to keep the theme striker in a minute. Caicedo and Jackson have the same agent. I was not familiar. If that's the case, then fantastic. That should make the deal even easier. I'm convinced Fabrizio is a Chelsea fan, says Josh. And Broja is probably leaving now to Brighton. I don't think this deal really. I don't think this deal really impacts Broja in the short term, purely because he's recovering from an ACL. So he was never really going to, I don't feel, be out the gates, immediate starter from the first game onwards. It's an opportunity this season to compete. He was going to have to compete anyway. Whether, if you sign a bona fide starter, world-class player that's 25, 26, people wanted Victor Osimhen. When was Broja going to play? Politics comes into it. If you spend 120, 30 million on Osimhen, just because the ages, and I've spoken about ages before, but just because the ages stack up, it doesn't mean Broja is ever going to get a chance in the next 2, 3, 4 years, which is what he needs. Because Osherman is so expensive politically, he's gonna have to play. The board expect a return on their money. Whereas signing a 29 million Jackson, that's not enough money. You haven't cost enough money to be a bona fide starter for the next 3-4 years. He has to play well. He has to develop. He has to score goals. If he doesn't, he can be on the bench. When you spend 29 million, 35 million euros, that definitely doesn't guarantee you to start. And I don't think the board are really going to guarantee or expect you to have to start if you're not playing well. So I think if anything, funnily enough, even though the ages don't go a Giroud, Tammy direction, don't go a Reece James, Aspilicueta direction, I think the price tag is also quite important here, and the outlay in terms of the wages and the investment. The fact that this is probably what Broja would cost, similar to what Jackson in terms of market value. I wouldn't say Broja is worth any much less than this. Maybe you could say he's worth 25. The fact is that this is quite close between these two, I think, in terms of wages, in terms of market value. So there's no reason to think that there can't be rotation if there needs to be. So yeah, I'm quite cool with that. And like I said, the reason I'm more excited about this deal, because listen, for the people that are really excited because they know the player and he's an all-rounder, his hold-up play is really good, he runs the channels, he's very quick, he's good at taking people on, he's not scared to do so, he's very, very clinical. Like it's not like I'm hearing anything that's bad, and it's not like I'm seeing anything statistically in his metrics or in his attributes that makes me really shit myself. At the moment, apart from the aerial ability, everything looks pretty good. And you can get by aerials if you just don't spam the ball in, and you actually have a plan attacking wise to, have some sort of build up and have some sort of logical plan that doesn't involve just cross. But that can be improved on anyway. It's not to say he can't be coached. So there's nothing to really be scared of. The price is not too high. There's not a lot of risk, and there's a lot of reward. It's a low risk, very high reward signing. So there's not really much to be worried about. And to be honest, I'm more happy because I know Lukaku then hopefully is not part of the plan. Hopefully this just means he's leaving, and Poch isn't going to consider him. I'm hoping that means Lautaro, he's not going to go and spend 80 million on him, because I think Lautaro's bust potential is so high. I don't know what it is about Lautaro, and I don't know if anybody else agrees in the chat, but I know Poch wants him and Retete, but for me, just Lautaro just screams bust, just screams flop. I can just feel it. I can just feel the flop. I don't know why. It's just something that I can feel it. So for me, I'm kind of relieved there, and yeah, I'm relieved. I'm relieved that we're not splashing. Hopefully on a so-called bigger name. And Osherman is just it's ridiculous price point. That price point needs to come down, man. For what we're trying to do, we don't need to be spending 120, 30 million on him. You'll score 40 goals over the whole season again, says Ash. It's a rival, of course. Signing more players when you already have 4,576 in the squad. Oh, he's not a target striker from what I've seen. Let's see. Lautaro is a second striker. He needs a target man to play with to maximize his potential. That's how I would lean towards that as well. Our fan base love this Drogba regen gimmick. Yeah, I'm not going to do those comparisons. We should go for Tony in January if necessary. I was a big fan of us moving for Ivan Toney. He's probably one of my leading targets. But listen, I don't know, because it depends on the position Brentford are in. If they're in a relegation scrap, then they're not going to probably sell in January. More importantly, how fit is he? Is he sharp? Is he ready to actually contribute in January? He hasn't had a preseason, etc. So yeah, we have to be careful on that. Chelsea. Let's keep it moving though. So this still looks like it's going to get done. And probably maybe going to be done before others like Caicedo. But anyway, moving on. Chelsea have ended their interest in Inter Milan goalkeeper Onana. That actually started to be spoken about yesterday. And it was, I guess, a conclusion from a meeting with Inter Milan. Now, like I said, I did kind of say just how important this meeting was. I felt, it was very important to walk out of this meeting with a win. But I'm not gonna go at us, because I do believe that they were trying to take the piss a little bit into Milan, and they were pricing him very high, from what it sounds like, 70 million, odd they wanted for this player, and they're not interested in doing serious deals for our players. Lukaku, they want a loan. Koulibaly, they want a loan. Apparently, Koulibaly actually maybe doesn't even want to go to Inter Milan. Listen, his wages are high and he makes a lot of money at Chelsea, and he's at the end of his career. I hope Koulibaly doesn't become one of those players that kind of just sits on the shelf for us because of his wages. But you couldn't blame a guy for signing up on a big final contract and then thinking, I'm not going anywhere. Unless Saudi come in, and Saudi are here. There are apparently 2 or 3 Saudi clubs that are interested in Koulibaly, and they will pay him what he's making at Chelsea, if not more. So that's the only real, maybe logical next step if he's even okay with going out there. But listen, if we explain to him that game time is basically going to be few and far between, then maybe hopefully he'll actually want to play football. But yeah, Lukaku's not happy. He's annoyed that Chelsea haven't sanctioned a loan deal to Inter Milan, according to Matt Law. That was from yesterday. Inter Milan are taking the piss. Do you know what I mean? And I'm actually quite happy that we're not going to bend over backwards for them. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? These guys, they know exactly what time it is. They want Koulibaly. They're interested in Trevor. They're interested in Lukaku. They're interested in even Loftus-Cheek. Very loosely, there was a little bit of a link. And yet they don't want to do serious business. They want, these Italian clubs, they want to charge an absolute king's ransom for all of their players. 100 million euros for Barella, 70 million for Onana. And then when it's time to actually take a player the other way, they don't want to pay. They want to do loan deals, and they want to do, loan deals without obligations to buy. These deals have absolutely, they don't do anything for us. It's the 17th of June. We have no reason to get rid of these players on loan and have to have them back here in 2024-25 summer, next preseason. Doesn't do anything for us. So as far as I'm concerned, Inter Milan can piss off. If they don't want to do serious business, then that's fine. I don't even mind. So I'm happy we didn't get used and abused in that deal. We're still looking at the Valencia goalkeeper. Talk to me, people. What do you think on this guy? It's another name now that I'm going to struggle to pronounce if he signs. That is one of the biggest disappointments with this move. Is I can't pronounce I can't pronounce his name. I haven't tried, to be fair, but yeah, it's a long one. It's a long day. Until then, we'll just call him Georgie until then. But yeah, talk to me about this goalkeeper. What do you guys make of it? Obviously, we know we've been linked with Martinez as well at Aston Villa. That seems to be a Poch kind of pushed move. Premier League proven, Argentine as well. And then obviously we've got some really dead links to like Sanchez and Raya and yeah, the Leeds keeper. So hopefully none of that happens. But how good is he? Talk to me. Let's see what people are saying. Similar profile to Courtois, ball playing isn't that good. He's a top goalkeeper. Valencia keeper, very, very good goalkeeper. Good shot stopper. Distribution needs to improve significantly. How old is he? How old is he? I've like I said, I have not watched him. Valencia being basically involved in a relegation battle this season. I have no reason to be watching relegation scraps in La Liga. So I haven't watched a single glimpse of this guy. Like I said, with these teams, if they're in Europe, then I stand a chance when I'm doing my European watch-alongs. If they're not in Europe and they're not, if they're not on my radar for a loan for one of our outgoings, or I've heard of the target from a long way back, then I've no reason to be watching them. So this guy's 22 years old. I don't know him like that, so I can't really comment on his ability, but I'm unfamiliar, and that worries me because we do need. This is where I'm not really so looking for a risk, because we've already got Mendy, we've got Kepa. If we get a goalkeeper and it doesn't work out again, it's like what next? Do you know what I mean? Then it will have to be Solino. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think. It's a bit of it's a scouted one again. So maybe we just have to trust. But I'm a little bit more worried on that one. He's a giant. Hopefully, I am unfamiliar. I am. But the difference is with Jackson is that I'm more kind of willing to be taking a gamble on the striker, because I feel like with us and with Poch as well, with how he's developed strikers. Listen, Poch is a developer of player, but he's not a developer of goalkeepers, right? He's developed, Harry Kane, he's developed Ricky Lambert. The player's young, it stacks up quite well statistically, or attributes wise. There's something there. The goalkeepers don't tend to peak until their later years. So there's so much that goes into being a goalkeeper that only goalkeeping experts will be able to tell us. Things like saving technique, and we've seen it with Kepa with the wrists, cross collection, shot stopping technique, and all of these things. And then also distribution. You guys are telling me that his distribution is not great, it seems like, as well. So I don't know. This one, goalkeeper is a position where I'm just like, it's the complete opposite to striker, really. Striker, we've gone for the players that we think are guaranteed hits and they're experienced, or stop gaps, and they've always flopped and failed. For me, as long as we create chances and we play good football, we're going to score goals. Everybody talks about finishing, fair enough, but Chelsea were mid-table for chances created. We were like 10th. We didn't dominate teams in midfield, all of these things. If we create chances, I expect us to score more goals. I've seen an Arsenal team with Jesus, not clinical. I've seen a Man United team with Weghorst, not clinical. Martial, injury prone. I've seen teams that don't have top strikers. They still have good campaigns. We're just trying to get into the top 4, top 5. We're not trying to win the quadruple. So that makes me a little bit more calm. Goalkeeper wise, listen, I would like to have somebody sturdy in between the posts if possible. That would be great. And also because, listen, if he's 22, then he's literally quite close to Stellina. So distribution could be worked on. It can. He's good. Don't think we need to be going for a goalkeeper that isn't nearly the finished product. Yeah, because we do have a very talented goalkeeper in the wings. Do you know what I mean? And he is highly rated. And I agree with you. I think someone a little bit more of a guarantee. This is a position where I would be looking for experience if we can get it. I would like experience here. For the back line, the back line's already got quite a lot of youth in it. You take a look at Colwell, Badiashile, Fofana, the two fullbacks on the right side. Reece James, you could say, clocked up a bit of experience now, but if he doesn't play because he's injury prone, then Gusto's inexperienced as well. You've got the left hand side. If Lewis Hall's playing, or maybe he's not, then you've got the left backs of Cucurella and Chilwell. But it is a very inexperienced back line. So a goalkeeper that's got leadership, a goalkeeper that's got experience, a goalkeeper that's vocal, a goalkeeper that takes charge of situations, that's played on the biggest stages, that would be ideal. That would be ideal. I'm not going to lie. That would be ideal for me personally. That's what I would be looking at. Let's see. Hopefully Thiago. Yeah, exactly. We have Thiago there. That's Onana. Yeah, I mean, listen, if Onana's been outpriced, I don't want us to break the bank for Onana. I don't think it's that deep. I don't think he's like world class. He's obviously got brilliant distribution and he's had a really strong end of the campaign. But I don't think we should be going to rock up with 70, 75 million at all. So if we're not going to go for Martinez, then maybe we have to do our due diligence. And this is what we do with our due diligence. We go over a player like this. There's a lot of mixed reports. A lot of people saying he's not a good goalkeeper. He's second choice level. Some people are saying he is a very good goalkeeper. I haven't watched him. So yeah, I don't know. That one scares me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. I'm not really trying to take a risk in that position. That does kind of worry me a little bit. Fabrizio, Chelsea have already received 3. Because let me tell you something. If a goalkeeper's shit, you find out very fast in the Premier League. If they're not good, like the goals will just fly in, like you'll never believe. So that's why I'm like, ugh. Long shots and all the if the goalkeeper is not up to it, you find out within the first few games, and then there's no going back. And then yeah, it's a long day. You can't concede a lot of goals, man, like Tottenham did this season. Look where they ended up. They conceded over 60 goals, scored over 60 goals with Harry Kane, and look what happened to them. They finished 8th. Chelsea have already received 3 loan requests from Championship clubs for Caicedo. Decision will be made in the next few weeks. There's nothing concrete with Juventus, despite rumours he's staying at Chelsea for a long-term project. He won't be sold, obviously. It's a player that very much impressed at the Under-20 World Cup, scored a lot of goals. Out of the midfielders that we have, I am personally leaning more towards him going out on loan, but it's only a little lean. I'm not really too fussed. If I was to go through it, you've got Carney, you've got Andre Santos, and you've got Caicedo. Now, in my head, personally, you can only keep maximum 2 of those, and you have to loan out 1. Because, if we're going to bring in a new midfielder, you got Enzo, you got, let's say, we're going to bring in, our Brighton brother. And then you've got Nkunku playing in the 10. So if we sign another midfielder as well, then you really don't have a lot of space left. And it's like, you do need to give these guys game time. So yeah, for me, probably 1 at least needs to go out on loan. Wouldn't even be surprised if 2, but minimum, I think 1. What is better to do is to keep Andre Santos and to keep, I think Carney probably needs to be kept. And then, then it ends up that Caicedo goes out on loan. I think Santos, Hall, and Carney might stay. Seems like Caicedo most likely to be loaned out. We'll see what happens. If someone impresses in pre-season, if they get the opportunity to impress Poch in pre-season and they do a madness, then the whole game changes. Suddenly now, anybody can stay and can go out on loan. If he rips it up in pre-season, then you never know. If Carney for some reason has a really poor pre-season and Caicedo has a brilliant one, that can change the whole that can change the whole way this goes. So yeah, we'll have to see. It could change. It can change the way it sways. No 2 ways about it. Let's see. All right, cool. We're going to keep moving on to others as well. Thoughts if United secure Onana for 45 to 50 million? I mean, if he was available for 45 to 50 million, then I would assume we'd be going in for him. So I don't know why you guys would secure him for 45 to 50 million. If we're coming out of the race and he's being outpriced of 70 or 65, then I'd be surprised if you get him for 45 to 50 million personally. But we'll see. Big Up Man just joined. Spoke about... No, I haven't spoke about him yet. It came out of nowhere. We're still seeing links to Viega, I think it is, from Celta Vigo. Viega. We're going to get into that. But that is a weird one. I'm not going to lie. I guess it's a Mason Mount / Kai Havertz replacement. But yeah, it's a lot of scouting going on. That's for sure. It's a lot of scouting going on. Right, let's go back to the list because there is a lot going on and we've got to stick to the key points as well. So let's see. Yeah, we've asked for information on him. Now his release clause is there at Celta Vigo, and again, it's quite low. His release clause. He's not someone that looks overly incredible on the pie chart, but listen, he scored a lot of goals towards the back end of the season again. Let's see. But for me, do you want me to be honest with that one? I'm not even going to say let's see. I think that's kind of a pointless one. I would be a little bit confused as to why we're going for him. A goal scoring attacking midfielder. Okay, well, we have Andre Santos who's playing in those advanced 8 positions. Maybe can play as a 6. I've heard a couple of times, but mainly right now is a box to box. We got Caicedo. We have Carney. I don't really see why we need to go for this player, to be honest. Regardless of if he's scoring goals from midfield in La Liga at 21 years old, it just doesn't feel like the profile or the player necessary right now. So yeah, I'm not really understanding that one. I find that a bit of a strange move. So yeah, that's kind of where my head's at with that one right now. I don't really understand that. But anyway, we shall see. So let's just go back to the big moves, right? Because we're not just here to talk about these release clauses and these small price tags. We're talking about sales as well. Caicedo, looking like 90 to 95% done on the personal terms front. Final details Fabrizio reported that yesterday. He obviously is, not going to be going to Arsenal. They pulled out of the race and they're focusing on Declan Rice and Kai Havertz. So it looks like we're going to be getting Caicedo. Again, I just want this to move as fast as possible because he is a very, very good player. And I'm sure Manchester United, I don't know why Manchester United are not looking at it, potentially because of the ownership situation, is why Man United are not looking at it. Because if you could think of a perfect partner for Casemiro, Caicedo is probably as good as it gets if you're talking about a perfect partner. Somebody that can help in the first phase, somebody that can get around the pitch and cover the ground, somebody that can slot in right alongside him, and defensively that's a fantastic double pivot to put together. So for me personally, I'd love this to get done as soon as possible. This is the top midfield target for me right now. He's actually a very underrated passer of the ball. If you remember the game at the Amex, he put a wonderful line breaking splitting pass in between our right back and centre back to form a pre-assist for the cross that came in for the goal. Really, really good on the ball. And listen, he's one of those players that there's comparisons, and I feel like this is kind of in a way our Kante replacement, because we've needed energy, we've needed legs, we've needed someone that can win tackles, interceptions, get around the pitch, cover the ground. But I actually think the potential of him, he's got the potential to be much more well-rounded than Kante. And I don't think people are going to be surprised to hear me say that. This guy in the first phase, picking up the ball from the centre-backs, I think can be a lot stronger than Kante. We've never really seen Kante do that job. It was always Jorginho, and I think rightly so. I think managers spotted that from early, that wasn't for him to be playing in that DM position. I think from a positional standpoint of actually staying in your position and holding, if he had to play as a holder in a three-man midfield, I actually wouldn't be surprised if he could do that in the future. I know we haven't seen it, and a lot of people kind of feel like he's not a traditional DM, but I think Caicedo has shown as more of a defensive kind of player alongside of McAllister and others, that he can, I think, be a sitter if he has to. I think he has the potential to do it. He's only 21. It just requires discipline really on his side. I think he could do it. And for me personally, if he molds into like this Fernandinho type player, we've seen him play right back now in swap for Pascal Gross. He's a very intelligent footballer, inverting from that side. So if he could kind of develop into this kind of Fernandinho, smart kind of player that, is able to kind of make these tackles that go unnoticed and never get booked, and just play very clever with smart fouls. And, you never know, you never know the progression of him. He's still very, very young. So for me personally, I think this is a massive signing for us. This is the one I'm the most excited for, obviously. And I just can't wait, hopefully, for this to get done. I think this is huge. It's huge for Enzo in midfield, and it's huge for us. It's huge for us. So I don't want him wearing the 7 jersey, man. We need to get him something else. We need to give 7s to wingers, surely. At some point, we need to get back to the 7 going to the winger. I don't know what numbers are even available for Caicedo. But yeah, hopefully not getting the 7. No, listen, Kante's ball carrying was brilliant. His passing in the final third wasn't quite there. Again, I think Caicedo maybe will be able to kind of pip him in that kind of situation. I don't think you ever wanted Kante to make your final pass. That was never Kante's game. Whereas Caicedo, I think maybe he like I said, I think his passing is quite good. And he's made some really good passes, line breaking passes in that Brighton team quite often. So I think Kante was more of a ball carrier. I think Caicedo could be more of a pass master in comparison to him. And like I said, as a sitter, he just wouldn't stay in position. He was just better to just roam and go and close down Kante. So a little bit different. So let's see. What else is being said? He's more press resistant than Kante, in my opinion. He can wear the 8. That's the Covers number. Yeah, he could wear the 8. He could. But 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 will all be free. What a time for new signings. Damn, that's kind of crazy. And also just to add on to this Brighton move, obviously it's going to be I think about 80 million, maybe add-ons as well. But I think 80 million is what we're going to try and stop the initial fee going above. But we'll see. That's to continue next week in talks. It looks like Gallagher could be involved in that deal, maybe, or separate deal. Now that is music to my ears, right? No disrespect, but I've been trying to push this Gallagher, sale for quite some time now. He's really starting to irritate me visually in terms of watching him play. And, much love and respect for the will to want to play for the club, but I'm not here for it. This man needs to be sold this summer, and it's one of the non-negotiables that I have, along with Lukaku leaving as well. It's one of the non-negotiables that I have. Well, I'm just like, you couldn't change my opinion if you tried. It's one of the, when everybody's got a couple of opinions that they're just not changing. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's got a couple of opinions in football for this window for Chelsea, where they're just like, listen, this is my opinion, and I can give you 1,000, 1,000,000 reasons as to why this is my opinion, and you're not going to change it because I've seen the player, I've watched the player, I have eyes, and I'm not buying it. And that's the case with Gallagher for me. Like, I'm just not having it. I'm not having it at all with this guy staying at Chelsea this season. I think there's money to be made, and we need money. If you can come and collect 35, 30 million, 40, who knows, something crazy, then get it done. There's absolutely no reason to justify why we shouldn't be taking in that money for a player. For me, that their ceiling is probably mid-table in this league at best. So yeah, Mason Mount wanted by United, Kai Havertz wanted by Arsenal. Talent-wise, technically, these guys are another level above Gallagher. There's a reason why Gallagher, let's be honest, the club's interested. None of them are top clubs, because he's not going to be a top player, in my opinion. Now, Fab has retweeted his Jackson tweet from before. The here we go is soon. Contract will be long, more than 5 years. Listen, I expect this will get done over the weekend, potentially. There's not really any reason for this to be held up. The personal terms are agreed on Jackson. The release clause is there. There's only a few little minor details that maybe can be discussed and negotiated in terms of installments, but the release clause is so low that there really is no reason as to why we should be taking too long to wrap this up. I think this Jackson deal could even be done today, or it could be done in the early hours of tomorrow, or it should be done over the weekend. There's not really any reason for it not to be. So if he's retweeting his tweet, then that tells me that things are literally almost done, and we may even get an announcement. Literally, we could even get an announcement in the next couple of hours, maybe even while I'm live. We want Oshimin. No, we do not want to spend 120-30 million on Oshimin. Well, I don't anyway. He's Mount depth. Well, Mount's potentially leaving, so we don't need Mount depth. But you're saying there's a replacement for Mount. Why can't Carney be the replacement for Mount? That's my point on him. Why can't Carney be the depth? I don't see the point personally. I think this is too much stockpiling now. If you bring him in and you have Carney and you have Santos and you have Cassidy, all of them advanced goal scoring creative midfielders in some respect, right? You could say Carney maybe more on the creative side, goal scoring wise. You've got Santos and Cassidy. What is the point? There's just no need. You have these young players. You've invested the money. They've had good under-20 World Cup campaigns, some of them. Give them the opportunity. That is all that this kid has over them, is an opportunity. He doesn't look like as if he's been, he's not this kind of generational talent that, that everybody's been waxing lyrical about and has been doing things out of this world that you just can't pass up on the opportunity. That is not the type of player this guy is. He's not. I just when you just watch him, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but he's not someone that is like, oh my God, you have to have him. He's not one of those guys. So for me personally, I don't really see the point. I think that's just a waste of money, waste of time. Personally, I think you literally have young midfielders already. Just use them. I don't think Chelsea see Carney as a pivot option, to be honest. I just think he played there because we had injuries. I don't think they see him as a pivot option. I wouldn't take too much notice of what Lampard was doing. To be honest, over the back end of last season, I wouldn't really read into too much of what Lampard was doing. He was just on a freestyling thing. Let's be honest, man. So let's not assume that because he played double pivot a couple of times that's where he's going to play. So yeah, for me, I don't really understand that one, and I don't really. I hope it doesn't happen, to be honest, because I have no reason to really push that one. Personally, I just don't understand it. So yeah, all right, moving on. So let's keep it moving. Some people say, this is just a tweet from my brother on Twitter. He says, some people are saying, this is Chelsea fan, I'm quoting here. It says, if reports are true that we've ended our interest in Onana, then we've made a massive mistake. Sure, even in this comp, you can see 1 or 2 moments where he overplays, but the positives he brings far outweighs the negatives. How many goalkeepers can play like this? Listen, Onana is definitely unique, and he's quite special in the fact that he's probably one of the bravest goalkeepers in terms of ball playing on the planet right now. But you know, if they're willing to try and outprice us with 70, 80 millions, nothing we can do. We can't pay that kind of money for a goalkeeper right now. We just have to just maybe bide our time and come back in at another point, maybe. Okay, so let's move on to a couple of other outgoings. Obviously, we know the Kai Havertz situation we need to talk about as well. Kai Havertz. So Arsenal came in with a bid that was rejected a couple of weeks ago. Was it? No, sorry. Hold on. Let me just get this completely on point. I think we came in with a bid for Caicedo a couple of weeks ago that was rejected, but this is only now coming out. So let me just brush up on this now. So yeah, talks next week for Caicedo. That's fine. Arsenal withdrew their interest. That's fine. 80 million. That's fine. Wants to move. That's fine. Official proposal coming soon. That's fine. Now, 55 million bid is expected from Arsenal. And we rejected an offer from Arsenal, and that was reported yesterday. I don't know what the offer actually was. Wouldn't be surprising if they started with a low ball offer, something silly that we would never accept, probably like maybe a 40 to 45 million, right? Player wants to join. Personal terms are not going to be difficult to agree. Chelsea can't agree a new contract, so they're trying themselves with a 40 to 45 million bid. I wouldn't be surprised if it's in that range, just to put the feelers out. Now, if they're coming back in with a bid of 55 million, that's a good bid. I have to be honest, that is a good bid. Now we might want 70 or we might want 65 but 55 is close. It's a lot closer, and I think 55 initial with add-ons is quite a decent deal. If you can get 55 add-ons to 65, I think that's not the worst deal in the world. So we're starting to get a lot closer for me. So yeah, for me, I'd like that deal to get done as soon as possible now, because we need outgoings, guys. We don't really have time to just be. They've already rejected it. Oh, they rejected the 55. We want 60 million plus. When did that come out? Hold on a second. Let's see this. When did that come out? Arsenal willing to match the 250,000 a week wages. Wow. When did is that the offer that we rejected? Is that the offer? The times. Oh, okay. Do you know what? There's just so much going on. It's almost impossible to even see everything at this point. So we've rejected the 55. All right. Well, listen. As long as we don't scare them off, and I actually want them to sign him. I'm not going to lie now. Like I'm at that point. Obviously, Bayern Munich are there as well. Maybe a bidding war maybe starts. I don't think there's going to be a bidding war over Kai. Like, I don't think it's just going to keep going up. I think everybody's got their maximum on how much they're going to pay, and they'll leave it at that. Thomas Tuchel's interested. Bayern Munich are interested. They want to use him as a striker, reportedly. That's crazy. Listen, sounds like the same mistakes are going to be made again. But listen, that's none of my business. I don't really care. Yeah, as long as the deal gets done, then fair enough. You know what I mean? Obviously, try and extract as much money as you can, but I hope we don't scare people off again with the valuation. So they've rejected the 55. There's still optimism a deal can be done. Good decision. I would sell him to Bayern a bit under Arsenal's bid. Listen. If we can do something clever, right, and manufacture this, right, and if we can do something very intelligent, and this would be very intelligent, I'd love to see it. Chelsea have turned down an opening bid from Arsenal for Kai Havertz, but talks remain. So yeah, I have seen this, but I thought that Chelsea had rejected an opening offer, and then Arsenal were going to come back in with a £55 million bid. But it seems like, okay, maybe they've already put that £55 million bid, and that is the bid that we've actually rejected. Okay. It's just that when it was reported that Chelsea have rejected a bid, it was not clarified as to how much it was, which is basically this. And I think Nathan also reported that as well. It's not clarified as to how much we've rejected. So I guess, yeah, if it's the 55 that we rejected, then fair enough. We want at least 65. They are a London rival. Extract as much money as you can. But if you can somehow get Caicedo in the door, and I'm talking about signed, sealed, delivered documents, here we go, like medical done, and he's a Chelsea player, holding up the shirt. I don't want no stupidness, right? No William, Pedro, Mikel, last minute gasp. No. Done deal. Finished. Guy's got a squad number. I can go to the mega store right now and go and get his shirt signing. Done. If you can do that, and the Kai Havertz deal is not quite done, and you can then get Bayern into the conversation. If Bayern are serious, and I'm not talking about Bayern Munich who want to play games and, you know, Bayern Munich with real money, not Douglas Costa loan deal, real money, right? Real cold, hard cash from Bayern Munich, which is not always a guarantee from them because they like to sometimes pretend that they're broke. They like to move a little bit, you know, a little bit fishy. Then I'm here for it. Sell him to Bayern over Arsenal, of course. And as long as you're getting a significant fee, then fantastic. Now, if that's the case, then no problem. I ain't got a problem with that. But for me, the main thing is to really try and extract as much money as possible. I think if Arsenal go in for him and they do come to a 60 million, I think you got to take that now. You know, I really do. I really don't want to see this move break down. I've already kind of got into the mindset of Kai leaving. I don't want to get into the mindset of Kai staying. Like I'm already over the hill now. I'm already ready to go up against him. I'm ready for that now. I don't need to go back on that. So this deal does need to get done. You think we're silly? You'll get that bid by Monday, and if it gets rejected, we'll walk away. Apparently, well, don't go anywhere, please. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, I really hope that we don't outprice Kai. That's actually a genuine fear of mine now, is that we outprice him. We really need to make sure that we get our money. Because his contract runs out in 2025. Next year is the last year. You're not going to get more money next year than you got this year. So this is actually a genuine opportunity to balance the books on Kai. And actually, if you're looking at the way the deal's amortized, then you're making a profit. If you're looking at what we spent, then obviously it's a slight loss. But the main point is that we're getting good money back from Kai for the performance that he's put in. So for me personally, yeah, I'm really trying to get this deal done now. I'm ready to see this money come into our accounts. Okay, so right, what else is being said? He's not on 250k, he's on 150k at Chelsea. Let me see. I mean, it's difficult to actually, you know what, let me ask. I'm not even going to Google it because Google keeps coming with different figures all the time. So I'm just going to ask someone that actually definitely knows. Let me see. I'm not probably going to get a response right now, but I'll let you guys know in the next bit of content if I don't get one. Do you know? Well, you do know. Yo, bro, what is Havertz's weekly wage? Because I'm just seeing so much conflicting too many different answers. The thing is with Google is that they give you they just give you too many different numbers. So yeah, I wasn't aware that he was on so much. If it's 250k, that would surprise me. That would surprise me. But listen, then again, we did pay a lot of money for him. So again, it wouldn't, you know, if you spend 70 something million on someone with add-ons that can potentially go up to 90, you'd say that, yeah, 250k is something that you should be thinking about paying them. But yeah, it does. But then when you actually see the performance, and you're hoping that he's not on that. Yeah, I get it. All right, so yeah, we're waiting on the Kai situation. So I would like that to get done. The Kai situation has kind of been rumbling on for a decent amount of time. And we're taking it all the way back to Real Madrid links, you know, last week when they obviously pulled out because of the valuation. So I really just want Kai, this Kai situation to get wrapped up now, to be honest. But like I said, Bayern Munich have entered the race. Hopefully they have money to put to us on this one, and they're not going to come on some foolishness. Arsenal initially targeted Mason Mount as well, but once it emerged that his preference was to join Manchester United, the focus shifted to Kai Havertz. That was reported from Ornstein as well. Ornstein did actually have quite a few other midfielders to link us with, in terms of it being Lavia, Kone, my brother Dorlini, and Barella as well as alternatives. Now, I don't really get those alternatives because they're not the same players, right? In terms of the same profiles or position. Barella and Kone are not DMs. So even Dorlini, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. There's a couple of attacking midfielders in there. There's a couple box-to-boxes. There's a DM in there, maybe in Lavia. I don't know what's going on there. There's a lot of profiles. Just get Caicedo so we don't have to go through all of that. I'm not really sure what they're thinking on all of those different names there. So yeah. All right, cool. We move. So yeah, that's on that front. Let's keep it stepping. Yes, he's keen. That's great. Bakayoko was released, obviously, as well. So goodbye to Bakayoko. Thank God. I think his contract ran out in 2024, was it? So I think they just decided early doors to just move him on. I think that's the case. He signed in 20. You can usually work these things out because when did he sign? 20. Oh, maybe actually his contract did expire. Did he sign in 2018? I think he did. 2018, yeah. He came in after the title win. We won the title 2017 going into 2016, 2017. He signed 2017-18 season he signed. So that's a 5-year contract. Yeah, his contract probably ran out, actually. I think his contract might have actually run out. Yeah, his contract might have run out. If he signed a 5-year deal and we never extended it. Oh, wait, but no. We did extend it. I swear we did extend it. So yeah, he signed 2017 summer, but I'm pretty sure Marina done those little 1-year extensions on him. So he might have actually had a contract till 2024. But listen, doesn't really matter. He's been released and that's fantastic. Now, we need to get him off the books. I'm kind of surprised Baba Rahman has not been released as well. Baba Rahman is still at the club. He was on loan at Reading last season. He's on about 100,000 a week. I know, gasp, but it is true. He is on 100,000 a week because I've looked at this many a time hoping that it wasn't true, but it is. And he has absolutely no future here. So the compensation to get rid, I guess you want to take a look at 52 weeks on 100K. You're looking at a 5.2 million payout for Baba Rahman, roughly, with a year left. Maybe that's why we're not doing it. Most likely that's why we're not doing it, because I have absolutely no doubts the club do not want to have him on the books any longer. I don't know how we're going to get rid of him. There's not going to be anybody interested really in Baba Rahman, to be honest. It's definitely not going to be a transfer fee situation either. You get rid of him for free. You pray to the high heavens that he's not trying to, which he probably is, claim his 100,000 a week for the last year. If you was him, you would want your 5.2 million in your last year, because you know that whoever you go to next, you're probably going to make a maximum of about 20 to 30,000. So I wouldn't be surprised if Baba Rahman is trying to get his money. I would too. And we may have to just pay him out and release him, or loan him out, get somebody to pay 20, 30% maximum of his contract. We pay the other 70, 80% to save, I don't know, a million, maybe. You know, we're saving there, or how much are we potentially saving? No, we're not saving much at all. If you say roughly that someone will pay, 20% of his yeah, you're saving about 1 million. That's what I said, about 1 million. So yeah, it's a long day, but it's nearly over. It's nearly over. Marina's the reason why we have this player, so I don't know why we're getting propaganda on that one, but she's the reason why Bakayoko got a little bit of a year extension as well. So yeah, listen, she wasn't perfect, but it is what it is. So yeah, hopefully that guy gets released soon because yeah, he just doesn't need to be on the website. Do you know what I mean? No disrespect again, but like the fact that he's even on the website is just a little bit of a long day. He's been there for a very long time now. Kind of need to finish this clear out. So he needs to go. But at least Bakayoko is gone. And there was gonna be a couple of people in preseason that was like, oh, maybe we should give Bakayoko a chance. Those people can't do that. So that I get a lot of joy out of that one. All right, cool. So let's see. Right. So there's more. There's so much. This is why I had to do a stream because it's just too much, guys. Too much going on. We spoke loosely about Lukaku being unhappy, annoyed. I don't really give a shit if you're annoyed, to be honest. You see Lukaku, right? And this is reported by Matt Law. You see Lukaku. You, sir, no one told you to not have a stellar, groundbreaking, bombastic, elephantastic, Jurassic, season at Inter Milan. You could have gone in there and cleaned house. You could have gone in there in peak condition from preseason when you were initially removed from our Cobham institution. You could have got in there and you could have benched a 37-year-old Edin Dzeko from the get-go, and you could have banged in the goals, and you could have finished top scorer, MVP, no doubts, back in business. You know what I mean? All of that. And then you maybe have a right to have a say in this. But my brother, you only turned up back end of the season. So I've already spoken about Michael Jackson, unfortunately. So you're a bit late. But yeah, if you're annoyed, you're just gonna have to just sit tight because your club, your one and only true love, Inter Milan, don't want to pay the money. So there's nothing we can do about that. Do you know what I mean? We're not gonna just loan you out on June 17th. Although, to be honest, I would love to just see him removed regardless. I'm not really... He's one of those players, I don't really care how he exits. If it is a loan, I'll take it. I just want to know he's not here next season. I don't actually care. He's one of those ones where I'm not even going to haggle. But if Chelsea want to haggle, I can't blame them because they just want to get him off the books completely. Ziyech has got a couple of Saudi clubs interested in him as well. So hopefully there's a meeting taking place in London this week that should get hopefully done. Again, you see these Saudi deals for Aubameyang, for Ziyech, for hopefully Koulibaly. I want to see these wrapped up next week. I want to see those three wrapped up next week. If there's Saudi interest, which there is for Koulibaly, apparently 3 or 4 clubs, come in, pay him his peas, pay us some peas. Hopefully he wants to go. Done deal. Ziyech, done. Get it done. 1 year left on his contract. We don't need much money. Pay him. Aubameyang, again, same situation. Get it done. Those 3 players, I would love to see outgoings on those 3 players next week. To those Saudi clubs. I'm not really bothered which Saudi clubs it is. You know, just hurry up, get it done. So that's something to hopefully look forward to. And on the goalkeeping situation, I don't know really who we're going to make on our next move. Like I said, we've seen the Valencia keeper. We've also seen links to Martinez. Poch, I'm sure, is going to have a say, has to have a say. So we'll see what happens on that one. Should be interesting. All right, we're going to quickly fly through some of the chat, and then we will not be too far away from coming to a close. Let's see what's happening. Koulibaly's not going anywhere. Well, listen, if this is the thing with Koulibaly, he's on, 290k a week. I understand that Koulibaly doesn't want to go and take a pay cut into Milan. They're probably not going to pay him that, right? Probably pay him half that max. So I get that. And this is where we have to be a lot more intelligent next time with our purchases. And this is why I'm not screaming down, at the top of my lungs that we should go and sign a, proven striker on big money and give them 250k. And then if they don't work out, then next summer when Harry Kane's available on a free and we have the opportunity to do one of the darkest, one of the most ruthless, one of the most maddest deals of all time in Premier League history and turn him into the Chelsea version of Sol Campbell, we can't do it because, we don't have space. So I'm fine with this. I'm absolutely fine with this Jackson situation. Now, like I said, with the goalkeeper, I know Martinez a lot more than I know the Valencia keeper. So, of course, I'm going to lean slightly towards him. He's 30. I don't know what he'd cost, so we have to be careful on that front. But also, he's not going to do a madness on a wages wise. Fab tweet. Am I drunk? No. It's literally 11:43. Ampadu, listen, as I said in my predictions video, Ampadu versus Chalobah, in terms of versatility, he can play multiple positions. We'll have to see what happens. Ooh, what's this? Al Nassr are advancing in talks to sign Hakim Ziyech from Chelsea. Confirmed negotiations are underway as called. Player open to discuss, proposal made. Chelsea expect final bids from Saudi clubs for Ziyech and Aubameyang too. Hurry up. I want the here we go. Come on. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Yes. I want more than you can believe. More than you can believe, guys. I want these deals done. More than you can believe, guys. The Ziyech one, the Aubameyang one, these two here, hurry up. Hurry up on these two here. These are simple deals to get done. Just keep it moving, keep it stepping. More than you can believe. Best buds, great friendship they've got. Let them go Saudi, have fun. Do you know what I mean? Live life. Go and do them aeroplane Instagram caption. Go and do that over there, bro. Just go. Man, them are not serious. They're not interested anymore. I'm not interested. They're not interested. Let's keep it stepping, man. Let's keep it stepping, please. I'm not even bothered because, to be honest, do you know what? Let me be honest. You see these two? I don't even care. Just get them moving. You see, when we talk about a clustered squad and we talk about unsettlement in the dressing room and potential, these are the kind of players where it's like, yo, they're kind of jokesters. They're a little bit like class clowns in a way, in a good way, but when they're not playing in the bad way, they don't give a damn anymore. And it's like, I understand that they shouldn't give a damn anymore. We don't use them. They don't play. They're just basically rotting on the bench. They're not. Just let them go. Just let them go. I don't even care how much money. We didn't spend too much money on Ziyech. What was he? 30 million, right? Aubameyang was what? 10, 15, I think. They didn't cost that much. They've only got 1 year left on their contract, both of them. I don't know how much money you're expecting to get from guys with 1 year left on their contract, but I don't really care. Let's just keep it moving, man. Let's just keep it moving. I just want to keep it moving, man. These guys, I'm not asked. I'm not asked. I'm really not asked. They're off the wage bill. If you get, I don't know. I said it on a previous stream. I don't know Saudi clubs right now, what they're doing transfer-wise in terms of money, in terms of bidding. Wages, I know exactly what they're doing. But in terms of actually spending money, I'm yet to see them do a big bid. Every single time they go for a player, it's an opportunity. And I think this is where we have to differentiate between the Chinese market that we saw when they were going after Oscar and they were going after, Ramirez, and they were trying to get Diego Costa and they got Carlos Tevez and they got Hulk and they got etc., etc., etc. They were willing to put down 60, 70, 80 M's for players. Saudi are not doing that. Saudi are going for big names, opportunities that can help grow their game for World Cup bids, etc. Maybe bring the level of the league up, of course, as well, bring more eyes on it, but they're not interested in paying big fees in terms of transfer fees. They're interested in paying big wages. Now, I don't know why that is the case. Maybe they're trying to keep the money in-house, which is fair enough. Maybe they just give you big wages. You'll spend a lot of money in their country. The money kind of circulates, so it doesn't go anywhere. But they're not willing to put that money overseas or into European clubs. I don't know. That could be a logical reason as to why they don't want to do that. If you pay people a lot of money in your country, they're going to spend that money most likely in your country, most of it at least, and that's not, it's going to stay within the government and within the economy. So that could be the reason. That could actually be the reason. Just because they got a lot of money doesn't mean they just want to give it away. So they are just going for opportunities. And I'm, like I said, we have a lot of opportunities. So let's talk business. We have many opportunities, more than you can believe. So yeah, I don't know how much money they're going to pay, but they don't seem to be paying big fees. So yeah, but this takes us back to Saudi and Todd Bowie and the whole meeting that took place. Now it's all starting to make sense. Well, it made sense anyway. They got a lot of money and we got a lot of players. But now what was Todd cooking? Todd was sitting on these wonderful white sofas. There was an image that was circulating around Todd speaking to, you know, representatives of maybe these Saudi clubs. I'm not sure exactly of who these individuals are, but now he was probably talking to them. Listen, we have Hakim, we have Aubameyang, we have Koulibaly, we have Mendy, we have Kante, we have 5, 6, 7, 8 man that are big names on the global stage and that we are willing to do and conduct business for. Talk to me. What can you do for me, my friend? And it seems like we are doing things. It sounds like things are happening. It sounds like moves are being made. Hopefully, deals will get done. I like a lot. Thank God Saudi turned up, by the way, because, you know, if Saudi, I said this already, Saudi saved our club. Saudi saves our club. Imagine if Saudi clubs weren't moving like this. Imagine if they weren't on this madness at this current moment in time in history. Who would we sell these players to? Who would take Aubameyang on a sale, on a permanent, without trying a cheeky loan? Who would take Ziyech? Who would take all of these guys? Koulibaly. It's a madness. It's actually a madness that this has happened at the right moment where we are in an awful situation with our squad and we damn right need outside investment to come in and take these guys away. Like, literally save us. We're so lucky, you know. For all the mistakes we've made, we're very lucky that this is happening right now, because I just don't know where these players would go if these Saudi clubs and, you know, the way that they're operating didn't exist. They could have easily just said, we're going to develop talent. We're not interested in all your ballers. Forget it. What would we do? So thank God. Thank you very much. All right. If the player is not have 1 year, yeah. So those players have 1 year left, right? Koulibaly's contract is up until I don't know, 2027 or no, sorry. How long is? Hold on a second. I just said 5-year deal immediately, but let's hope that's not the case. He's a bit older, so maybe he only signed a 3-year deal. Koulibaly's contract expires in 2025. Okay. So next summer, Koulibaly will be going into his last year. Kepa will be going into his last year. Malang Sarr will be going into his last year. Hakim Ziyech will be going into his last year. Sorry, Hakim Ziyech is contracted till 2025. I did actually know that from a previous video, but for some reason I just got that confused today. Aubameyang is on 2024. Ziyech is 2025. So 2 years left on his contract. You could expect maybe a little bit of money for Ziyech, but again, I just want these players to keep it stepping. 2025. Yeah, so expect maybe a fee for Ziyech. Aubameyang, maybe not so much. Mendy, 2025 as well. And Conor Gallagher, 2025 as well. So again, if you are selling Conor Gallagher right now, this is the peak opportunity to get money for him, good money for him. Because next season, if you don't sign him onto a new contract, which I hope you don't, then he's got 1 year left and you're not getting the same money. So this is why Gallagher needs to go this window. So yeah, sorry. Ziyech, we should be getting a good fee. Mendy, 2 years left, should be getting a good fee. Koulibaly, again, 2 years left, should be getting a good fee. A decent fee. Let me not go too crazy to say good. Yeah, we bought him in 2020, just like Havertz. So yeah, 2025, same with Kai Havertz. Yeah, 5-year contracts were handed out in that window for the likes of Havertz, Werner, Ziyech, Mendy, not Silva. Who else did we sign in that window? Ben Chilwell as well, who just extended a couple of months ago. So yeah, basically that whole window is 2025. Easy enough to work out. So yeah, we need to try and get some money for some of those guys. Aubameyang's the only one where you probably just get scraps and you keep it moving. Cool. That's good to clarify now. Okay, we've gone through all of the news, the latest news. Hopefully I have not missed anything. I don't think I have. I've spoken about Jackson from the get-go for a good half an hour. So if you did miss the Jackson talk, which is the headline, then that's where that is. Like I said, I'm hoping some deals get done over the weekend because I will be around, especially tomorrow. Monday, I'm obviously around. 2026. What's going on with that? People are saying in the chat. Pulisic. Yeah, Pulisic is in his last year. Pulisic's contract runs out in 2024. So he's got to go this summer. I actually do know most of these. I actually do know most of these contracts off by heart because I've been looking at them for so long. But yeah, Pulisic 2024, Hudson-Odoi is 2024, Aubameyang's 2024, Lukaku's 2026, Ziyech, you know, like I said, Ziyech, Havertz, Mendy, Koulibaly, all of these guys 2025. So yeah. All right. So that's that. And Cover, obviously 2024. So that's why he's going. And yeah, to finalize on Cover, Felix, I think, reported that Cover, his contract, his situation is that it's done, right? That was an exclusive that Felix dropped yesterday, is that Cover is to Man City is basically done. He will be going to Manchester City. Let me see if I can get the full reading of this now. Now, it was kind of put back by Fabrizio to say that the deal is not done. So, but listen, I expect that to get done again next week. That's another deal I expect to get done next week. I expect Ziyech, hopefully Aubameyang, Cover, Jackson, Caicedo, all of these deals to be done next week. Now, Koulibaly is a bit more of a sticky one, but hopefully. But it's, again, a bit more sticky. We haven't even got to the Hudson-Odois and the Pulisics, but again, can only do so much at once. So those are the ones that follow after that as well. Lukaku is still another one that we're waiting on as well. And Cover, I expect to get done next week, if I didn't say that already. So you do expect to see a good 3-4 sales next week. And then, of course, you've got Ruben Loftus-Cheek to bring back into the frame as well. That's another one that goes into the second category of things to get done after the initial deals here. But Cover should really be coming to a close here. I'm just going to try and get this final report up and speak on Cover briefly, and then we're going to wrap up. But this Cover deal has been in the works for a while. Champions League finals done. There's no reason to now not get these things over the line. Chelsea and Manchester City have reached an agreement of 40 million euros for the transfer of Cover. Titch, personal terms are all agreed. Now time for everything to be signed and a medical. Understand majority of the 40 million fixed fee. Well, sorry, the 40 million euro fee will be paid up front, first outgoing complete. So that's something that Felix has just completely said is done. So it's not done in terms of official announcements, but it's done according to him. And he's doing very well this week. This window has to be said. So that's already a sale that is just, for me, wrapped up in my head next week. There's no reason for it not to go through. Pochettino is not really keen. We're not keen. He's not keen. Man City are keen. Money's not too much. It's good money for everyone, I think. 1 year left on his contract. We're getting a good amount. I think we're basically breaking even with what we paid. At the same time, you know, if he plays at his maximum, that is not a lot of money to have to pay for a player. So Gundogan, I think contract talks are still meant to be going on. So I know it's come up as released, but I don't think it's actually a completely dead situation as of yet. At least it would be crazy if it was, because he's a very, very good player. So many players to move on. Ampadu is one of those players that I'm not really putting in any list yet in terms of what I just mentioned earlier, purely because I just don't think it's a priority to move him. He's got a year left. If we do move him, it's not going to be a lot of money. If we do keep him, he's one of those players that will probably come to preseason with us. I think Ampadu. I think he'll be on the US tour. And then we'll see what Poch thinks of him. If he's impressed, then maybe he has a chance. If he's not, then we'll move him later on in the window. I don't think Ampadu is a priority. His wages are not high. He doesn't get us a lot of money. Ampadu's not a priority. Final thing as well, quickly, is obviously Santos's US visa has been approved. So he will be there for the preseason with Poch as well. That was reported a couple of days ago. And yeah, looking forward to seeing him on preseason at least. Going to be hopefully part of the first team next season if he impresses. Guys, we're going to wrap up there. We had to do a stream, as you can see, because there's just so much to go through. Apologies that I can't really keep up on video format, but I'm just not active like that in terms of just being always available. I'd have to be basically in front of my laptop all day waiting for news to come in. I can't be like that. It's the summertime. It's hot as hell. I had a long season, a lot of watch-alongs. trying to have a bit of a break, but it's not really a break. But and next week anyway, I'm going to be in New York, so there's no point building up expectation that I'm going to be here for every single piece of breaking news as soon as it drops, because it's just physically not impossible. It's just physically not possible next week. Next week I'll be in New York from Tuesday morning over to the following Monday. Time difference is gonna be a madness. But I will be dropping daily content. I will be reacting to what's happening on a daily basis, but I won't be there. I won't be there immediately every moment something kicks off, because like I said, I'll be busy. So yeah, we're looking forward to these things getting done next week. And yeah, until then, big up your damn selves. Make sure you subscribe, smash up the likes if you haven't already. In a bit, people. Peace. Perfect.